Turkey will accelerate the implementation of domestic defense projects and deepen cooperation with European partners, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has stated.
In parallel with launching domestic and national defense programs, we will strengthen our cooperation with European allies on a mutually beneficial basis.
At the same time, it has become known that Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan announced that he has officially invited the President of Turkey to visit Yerevan to participate in the European Political Community Summit in May 2026. Pashinyan expressed hope that this invitation will be accepted. According to him, Armenia has an institutional and ongoing connection with Azerbaijan and Turkey, and the relationship between Armenia and Turkey is on the right track.
The opening of the border and the establishment of diplomatic relations between the countries is only a matter of time. The question is, how long will it take us to complete this process?
Earlier, it became known that representatives of Armenia and Turkey held a meeting on Armenian territory regarding the normalization of relations. It is known that Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is actively promoting the idea of reviving the Turkic world. He seeks to strengthen the alliance of Turkic-speaking states from Turkey and Azerbaijan to the countries of Central Asia. Erdogan's plan includes expanding political and economic cooperation, creating joint cultural projects, and strengthening the role of Turkic countries in regional security. In fact, Turkey aims to become the center of a renewed Turkic space, capable of influencing key processes across the Eurasian region. In temporarily occupied Sevastopol, Crimea, the Russian small anti-submarine ship Albatros M, which is part of the Russian Federation's Black Sea Fleet, caught fire. According to the Telegram channel Crimean Wind, the fire actually occurred back on November 3rd, but it was not immediately possible to identify the vessel. The superstructure was covered with camouflage nets. Meanwhile, Ukrainian intelligence operatives destroyed more air defense targets belonging to the Russian occupiers in temporarily occupied Crimea. This was reported by the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine.
On the night of November 1st to 2nd, specialists from the Department of Active Operations of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine attacked more expensive air defense system targets.
The intelligence officers reported that as a result of the strike on the enemy command post of the S-400 Triumph anti-aircraft missile battalion, which was in a combat position, a Russian multifunctional radar and the autonomous power supply equipment of the S-400 command post were destroyed. Additionally, GUR specialists successfully struck an airfield surveillance radar and a radar station belonging to the Russian occupation army. The Ukrainian Navy also carried out strikes against the occupiers. Ukrainian forces hit an elite Russian unit that was stationed on the Sevastopol drilling platform in the Black Sea. This was reported by the Ukrainian Navy.
The naval forces of the armed forces of Ukraine struck an elite enemy special unit that was stationed on the Sevastopol drilling platform. In addition to Russian occupiers' technical reconnaissance and surveillance equipment, an enemy anti-tank missile system crew was also destroyed.
The military notes that in an attempt to pass off another defeat as a victory, the Russians are spreading a video allegedly showing the destruction of a Ukrainian Navy boat by a Lancet munition. As the Ukrainian Navy adds, in reality, it was Ukrainian forces who successfully used a kamikaze drone.
North Korea has sent about 5,000 construction workers to Russia to help restore infrastructure. According to media reports, this was stated by South Korean lawmaker Lee Sung-kwon. He said that since September of this year, about 5,000 North Korean construction troops have been gradually redeployed to Russia and will be mobilized to restore infrastructure. According to the South Korean lawmaker, there are signs of preparation and selection of personnel for the deployment of additional troops. At the same time, according to South Korean intelligence, about 10,000 North Korean military personnel are currently deployed near the Russian-Ukrainian border. Last year, North Korea sent about 10,000 North Korean soldiers to the war against Ukraine for the first time as reinforcements for Russian troops. In April of this year, Pyongyang acknowledged the participation of its soldiers in the war. According to South Korean intelligence, about 2,000 of them have been killed. Recently, it became known that 2 North Korean soldiers, who were captured by defense forces in the Kursk region in January of this year, are requesting to be sent to South Korea. According to South Korean intelligence, North Korean soldiers have orders to commit suicide to avoid capture, so their return to North Korea could be a death sentence. As is known, North Korea is one of Russia's main allies. The countries have signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement that provides for mutual military assistance. Pyongyang is providing Moscow with significant support in the war against Ukraine, which includes supplying weapons and sending military personnel and workers. In particular, North Korea is supplying the aggressor country with millions of artillery shells.
Russian occupying forces are continuing their push in Pokrovsk, Donetsk Oblast. The enemy is using armored and light armored vehicles. This statement was made by Major Vladimir Nazarenko, an officer of the Legion of Freedom. Speaking on the occupiers' tactics, the officer noted that they have not changed. It involves the maximum use of all resources available to the enemy.
In reality, in most cases, it's not their successes that are growing, but their losses.
Nazarenko noted that the enemy operates in small groups, and for the most part, these enemy forces are detected and destroyed.
The biggest problem is significant logistics and movement. The so-called kill zone is constantly expanding. Due to their chosen pace, the enemy is suffering huge losses, as in most cases their groups don't even reach the staging areas.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that dates have been set to finally clear the city of Kupiansk in Kharkiv Oblast of Russian occupiers.
60 Russians remain in Kupiansk. A clearing operation is underway. We will clear it all out. We know. In principle, the dates have been set.
On the night of November 4th, drones attacked regions in Russia. The media reported fires at several facilities. For now, only one attack has been officially confirmed, on a petrochemical plant in the Republic of Bashkortostan. Meanwhile, the publication Astra showed video from the city. The sounds of explosions can be heard. It also released footage of the fire that broke out after the drone attack. As the OSINT analyst explained,
preliminarily, this video shows the source of the fire to be either railway tankers on the tracks or storage tanks slightly to the north. However, according to local residents, there are several fires at the plant.
Additionally, explosions were heard overnight in the city of Kshtovo in Russia's Nizhny Novgorod Oblast. A fire was reported in the industrial zone near the Lukoil Nizhegorod Nefteyorgzintez oil refinery and a petrochemical plant. Explosions were also reported in the Volgograd Oblast. According to Russian media reports, the Frolovskaya electrical substation caught fire there.
The main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has destroyed the headquarters of one of the enemy's strongest units, Rubicon. According to the agency, the headquarters of the Russian occupiers was discovered in a partially destroyed house in the occupied town of Avdiivka, Donetsk region. The GUR notes that the enemy unit Rubicon specializes in the use of unmanned systems. It is reported that this is one of the most combat-capable structures of the Russian occupation army, on which the aggressor country spends significant resources. The agency reported,
Using the obtained coordinates of the enemy's location, GUR specialists, working in densely built-up urban conditions, skillfully directed FP2 unmanned systems at the Russians, each equipped with a warhead weighing over 105 kilograms.
Intelligence summarized, as a result of the strike, officers and drone operators of the Russian Rubicon who were in the headquarters were eliminated. In September of this year, journalists from Radio Liberty discovered the name of the commander of the Russian Center for Advanced Drone Technologies Rubicon. It turned out to be Russian Colonel Sergei Budnikov. The report also states that the occupiers' training base was found thanks to a segment by Russian propagandist Vladimir Solovyov. The location was identified by a sign above the entrance to the restroom with a distinctive design and an illuminated display above it. This indicates that the Rubicon training base is located in the Congress halls of the Patriot Exhibition Center in the Moscow region. The Radio Liberty investigation states that the Rubicon Center has existed since at least July 2024. During the fighting in the Kursk region, Rubicon's military personnel tried to disrupt the defense forces' logistics using drones. Russia is unable to manufacture critical components for the much-hyped Su-57 fighter jets promoted by Russian propaganda. This was reported by the international intelligence community Inform Napalm, which, together with the Phoenix Cyber Center, conducted a multi-level operation against the Experimental Design Bureau of Engine Building. This Russian enterprise manufactures components for strategic aviation and spacecraft. It is noted that hackers managed to gain access to internal systems and secret technical documentation, which for several months was used in the interests of the defense forces and their allies. Among these were documents related to the production of components for the fifth-generation Su-57 fighter jet. Propagandists call this aircraft the future of Russian combat aviation. However, as it turned out, Russia is not capable of manufacturing these components on its own. Their production is critically dependent on imported machinery, the purchase of which has almost come to a halt due to sanctions. As is known, on October 23rd of this year, the OKBM company was included in the 19th package of European Union sanctions. The decision was made after the results of a cyber operation were made public. Consequently, due to a shortage of high-tech components, Russia will not be able to produce new Su-57 fighter jets, of which the aggressor country already has very few. It is worth noting that in June 2024, Ukrainian forces struck one of the Su-57s on Russian territory, marking the first time in history that this fighter jet was hit.